I'm Kayla.
I'm Anna. This is Laughs and Legacies.
Hey guys, welcome back to Laughs and Legacies. We want to start off real quick just telling you a couple things that we're changing about the podcast. You know, new year, new us. On our Instagram, we're going to be posting more in advance, I guess, a couple of different prompts. Just so your mind gets going, thinking about these stories, and the expectations for sending stories to us is just different at this point. Like, you can send it through text message if you have our phone number. You can send it on Instagram Messenger or on whatever site you're using to view us. Or the original way, which was through the Google form. That link is in our Instagram bio. So
it's set up beautifully for you guys. And it's fun to just be able to see the post of what prompts are coming up. And we aren't setting a date for every single one. And so it could come, that prompt could come out in a month, in 2 months, or a couple weeks, you know. But if you see a prompt and you have a story or you know someone with a good story for that, go ahead and share that, or go ahead and, submit a story.
Yeah. So we're really excited about that. And if you have any questions about it and how to send it, you just reach out to us again. You can type it all out, or you can do a voice recorder.
Yeah.
Or like voice to text. My mom uses it all the time. She loves it. Although it's really annoying to hear from an outside perspective.
What do you mean?
When
someone's holding their phone and they're talking to it, and you think that they're talking to you, but they're talking, to their phone.
Yeah, that's right. And then they go, period, exclamation mark. You're like, ugh.
Smiley face.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But
send. And remember that Laughs and Legacies isn't us coming up with these stories. This is all you guys. So share.
Mm-hmm.
You guys make Laughs and Legacies, so this is perfect. Hey, don't put that down. For our YouTube followers, and you can see, look what she has.
Just like this. My sister-in-law got me a cup for Christmas that says Laughs and Legacies, and I'm loving it. So
we got merch. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we do not. But she knows I need to drink my water.
Mm-hmm. So this week we have the time I was in danger but didn't know it. We were trying to come up with our own, and we were having a hard time a little bit. Other people gave some pretty scary, unnerving ones. The ones that we came up with ourselves were dirt biking ones. A few weeks ago, we were dirt biking, and we had a trail of 4 people. In the front was my big bro on a dirt bike. I was on a dirt bike behind him, and then Kayla and her husband were on 2 different quads behind us. And we're just going. We can't see each other in front because we're winding down these roads and going downhill in the middle of the desert somewhere, right? Now, I started approaching this downhill turn, but the way it looked from my perspective, I thought it went straight on and downhill. As I approached this corner, I realized it was a corner, and I had 2 choices: either to turn sharp and probably skid off of this loose rock and fall off this cliff, or I just brake. But if I braked, I would go straight, and there was a likelihood that someone could come around that corner and hit me. But I knew if I tried to turn my wheel, I was going to slide off that cliff. So I just braked and skirted and stopped right before the edge. And I was losing it. I was like, whew.
And because her and Andrew were right in front of me, and she did this break, they kicked up a lot of dust. So I couldn't see anything either. And I could see that it went up and it went straight. But it didn't. Like she said, it curved. And so I was literally on one wheel, skirting around this corner. I literally just looked, as I'm turning, looked over dang, I almost just fell off this cliff.
Right there with clenched butt cheeks, man. And I keep going, and I catch up to Andrew, and he had stopped up ahead. And I go up to him, I'm like, dude, I almost just died. He's like, that corner? And I was like, yeah, that corner. Like, did you almost fall off that? He's like, dude, I braked so hard. I thought I was going flying. And then Kayla caught up and she had the same experience. Like, we all, Allie was fine though. Allie saw you, right?
He saw me braking, so at least he knew, oh, there's something weird here, let me brake. So he was safe, but
That's
the rest of us were dumb.
Yeah, that's the only story I can think of for myself of like a time I was in danger but didn't know it. Dirt biking.
We have lots of dirt biking stories. I think we could fill up a whole thing about just dirt biking stories. We should just do that at some point.
Oh my
But
gosh,
we're not
wait,
going
that's a
to.
great idea.
We really should, just dirt biking. And with all of our cousins that dirt bike too, we could easily just
those
fill
are
a
good
whole
ones.
thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that came to my mind, I was never actually in like close to like being injured or anything, but I did not realize what a danger it would be to get into a taxi in Peru. While I lived there, every time I said a little prayer before I got into the taxis because their rules for driving is not like the United States. I mean, it's different state to state, I still think here. Not like the obvious basic rules, but just like how people drive. And like in Utah, everyone runs red lights. I don't understand it. I thought I was going to die every time I, like,
Dude,
the
it
whole
was
time
the
I
same
lived
when
there.
I lived in Virginia. I feel like everyone ran the light. Like red meant, oh, just go.
Yeah, no, I don't understand that. Anyways,
Did you take
they
a
don't
taxi
even
a
have.
lot?
I
In Peru?
didn't do it a lot, but I did it enough times.
Okay.
Because my areas were really far from each other. So yeah, I did take taxis enough times to just be terrified and like said a little prayer each time.
What happened?
They just are scary drivers. They will just go, there's not really stoplights. They don't really have stop signs. So if you get to a 4-way cross, it's just like, they will just honk their horn saying, I'm going. You better not go because I am here. Like, it was terrifying all the time. I was just like, we're gonna die. And there were so many times where I'd go like this to my companion, like, we're gonna die.
Holding on to the oh crap handle.
The
right
oh
here.
crap. Seriously, no, I'm not kidding. And then they would always like be talking under their breath thinking that we didn't know how to speak Spanish because of course we're gringas. And I was just like, bro, please.
What would they be saying? Like tongue grab?
I can't remember, but sometimes they would.
Oh my! Did you speak back to them?
Yeah, it was awesome. That was the best.
That's the boss man right there.
And when they would tell me, hey, it's 40 soles to get, that's their currency, soles to get to this place. I'm like, bro, I have gone there and back so many times. It's only like 15. And he's like, no, it's 40. I'm like, I'll go to the next taxi if you're just gonna play me. And he's like, okay, I'll do 20. I'm like, I'm in a hurry, whatever. But just dumb.
Gringa.
I know. But Peru, they got great drivers, apparently.
Kayla lived in Peru, but so did our auntie. When she was young, about just under our age she was on a mission there, and she was living there, and her companion, her friend, they were walking down the street one day, and
This was in the time, it was in Huancayo, Peru. And this was like during the time of like lots and lots of terrorist groups. If you've heard of any of those, like it was pretty well known. If you like looked it up, Googled it, like terrorist groups in 1988, you'd just see thing after thing after thing, like story after story.
in Huancayo?
In Huancayo, Peru.
Oh. So that's where she was.
Lots of terrorist groups.
She's walking down the street with her friend, and up ahead they see this shady figure, a creepy man just hanging out, and my auntie, she switches her spot while they're walking with her friend so that she's closer to the man than her friend is, okay? And as they get closer to him,
Actually, sorry, I didn't tell you one of the details to the story as well. She thought the guy was going to rob her because that totally happens all the time in Peru. And so she had her side bag just like to the side like a normal purse, and she had like moved it to the opposite side away from him and had like crossed it over her so that she didn't get robbed. Sorry, I didn't tell you that part of the
no,
story.
you keep going.
No, that's it. Just she had switched her bag over because she's like, he's gonna rob me, and I'm gonna try to do what I can to like have it be me, not my companion, and have it like try to keep my stuff as safe as I can. And so they were still walking, continue.
The guy approaches her, you know, probably as expected then, and instead of grabbing her bag or anything, he lifts his hand and just like swipes her face, just the side of her face. And it wasn't hard or fast, it was just a swipe and he was gone. She lifted up her hand and felt the side of her cheek, and it was wet and cold. He had cut her about an inch from her lip all the way up to her ear. Now, they only have so much time before infection sets in, and the closest hospital was a 12-hour drive away by bus. They hurried and made it over there.
Yeah.
And the doctor, you know, closed up her cheek, had to pull her skin together, stitch it up. And her dad, our grandpa, he flies down there to Peru. He's like, "You're coming home."
She's like, "No, I am not.
I'm staying." She ended up staying there for about another year until there was...
More crazy things with these terrorist groups.
Yeah, following people around and figuring things out, whatever. And
Yeah.
so they had to evacuate. And that's all another story on its own. But at times she was in danger and didn't know it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
still has this-
she started sharing a bunch of other things that happened after her mission, but we can, you know, do that another time.
That's a whole nother episode, man.
Yeah. Super scary stuff.
She still has that gnarly awesome scar today. Like going up her cheek.
Yeah. It's like perfectly in her smile line. So when she smiles, you don't really see it. But yeah, she still has the scar today. So it's super scary. Can you open that? I also got another story from an old family friend. Super love her. Her name's Joanne Gonzalez. And I remember her telling me this story years ago, but I didn't remember the details. So I reached out to her. I said, "Hey, can you tell me this again?" And when she was 14 years old, she went rappelling with her brother, her sister, and one of their friends. They went to Coons Bluff, which is like right by the Salt River. Anyone who lives here in Arizona. So she went rappelling, and they had done this lots and lots of times. This specific time, it was getting pretty late. They did it in the afternoon. It was about 7 p.m. and she was going on her last run before the sun was about to go down. And in the middle, for anyone who's gone rappelling, you kind of like walk off the edge, you feed the rope through, and then once you like have enough like tension on it, you kind of start jumping and you like lift yourself off from the rock so that the rope slides through what's called a figure eight. It's a little metal piece that the rope is like linked through, obviously to hold you up. So as she's going down, she starts doing her jumps, and in the middle of one of her jumps, she decided to turn around and look down, and her hair was up in a ponytail and got caught. So it like was touching part of the rope, and it like sucked through the figure eight.
Oh my gosh.
So basically at this point, all the tension was pulled up into her ponytail. She was being held up by her ponytail. And even just a little yank on your hair just hurts. Anyone who has had that hurts. And I've had my hair get stuck in one of these figure eights. Not as bad as her, but I remember the pain. Luckily, I was close enough to the top that my dad just pulled me up and he just, untangled my hair. But she was going really
mid-drop
fast.
Or mid-jump, right? And she turns
Mid-jump. And you get fast. Like, you have to wear gloves because you go so fast that it'll, like, burn your hands.
Oh my gosh.
So, just imagine that. That's, like, super terrifying. Mid-jump, got her hair stuck. So then she's dangling there. And she sat there for about 30 minutes before her brother starts free climbing from the bottom.
Free climbing?
Free climbing. He had no ropes. He had nothing on him and just starts climbing. Luckily, about where she was dangling, there was a little ledge And I think you know, because we've climbed up it. There's like that little ledge right there, and he's standing on that ledge and put her on his shoulders to like ease the tension from her head. This was early enough, and they were young enough that they didn't have any cell phones, and there's not really service out there anyways. So their friend got in their car and drove, which, you know, to the closest gas station, which
is not close.
Not close. You're still driving, what, 20 minutes? At
20,
least?
30, yeah, 20, 30-ish.
At least 20, 25 minutes, right? To get to a gas station. So he gets there. He calls 911. And it takes them a while to get out there. Because, again, that's another 25 minutes to get out there. And then they're all sitting there at the bottom, staring at them, going, what do we do? What are we going to do? How are we going to get her down? And eventually they had like helicopters, they had like 20 cars. Like,
helicopters?
Yeah.
What the freak is a helicopter gonna do?
I don't know. They were getting the story, man. They had I don't know what they were doing, but that's what I heard. And they were all, and eventually somebody had come with more gear. He rappelled down to where she was, and he goes, okay, dear, like, I think we're gonna have to cut your hair. And she's a 14-year-old girl, and she's going, is that really all you think we can do? And he goes, yeah. And she's like, okay, do it. And he goes, only problem is that I forgot my knife.
Oh, dude.
So she's like,
what are you gonna do?
You just scared me that I'm gonna have to cut my hair. And
was he joking, or?
He didn't have his knife. So then he's like, well, let's see what we can do. And so he starts fiddling with it, and he ended up getting her hair out, which was a miracle.
This man's was about to just cut this 14-year-old hair off.
Right. By the time they had gotten down, it had been 4 hours.
Of being on his shoulders and hanging there from her hair.
So for her being up there dangling 4 hours, by the time he had, like, she was sitting on his shoulders, he was there for 3.
Oh my.
That's a long flipping time to be sitting hanging by your hair.
Yeah.
That is so painful. So, of course, by the time she got down, she was rushed to the hospital, and they had, like, strapped her down, which was, I don't know. They, like, strapped her down, and she's like, her dad got there and was just like, are you okay? Yada, yada, yada. And she goes, yeah, I feel totally fine. I'm just so tired, because by this time, it's, like, 11 p.m. She's like, I just want to go home. And he goes, okay. And so he takes out a knife and starts cutting the straps and takes her out. And when she stands up, she falls over because the harness had cut off her circulation to her legs. She couldn't walk for like 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
And she said that she couldn't brush her hair again for like 3 to 4 days because she was in so much pain in her head. She said, like, to this day, sometimes, like, she can feel in that area. Like, if you pull, it's like, she can feel it. Isn't that so terrifying?
That's
And I forgot this part. They said that if she was up there any longer, they might have had to amputate her legs because she was up there for so long and the circulation was cut to her legs.
Oh my gosh. No, that's terrifying. I feel like if I was there, like, everyone thinks that they'd survive, whatever, and they'd
Would
be
do
fine.
it differently or something, yeah.
Right, and so, like, I just imagine myself, like, I'd be like, oh, I'm fine. I would never imagine that I would lose circulation to my legs, and
Right.
I would...
You'd be so focused on your head being in so much pain and, like...
I'd be sitting up there, I would be in pain, and I'd be freaking... But I would be confident that someone would come and help, you know what I mean? I'd be like, well, my friend, they went and helped, we're gonna be fine. Can you imagine if that whole time just ended with amputation?
Oh, that's so sad.
That's so terrifying, Joanne! I had no idea! That's awesome!
And there was, like, a whole... She told me the rest of the story afterwards, like, later. She kept getting... people kept asking her and interviewing her about it, and her and her brother, and, you know, she gave the details and yada, yada, yada. But there was... the story ended up in, like, 9 different newspapers. And there was one newspaper that literally, I don't know where they got the information. They were, like, she sent me a picture of it. It was, like, all these quotes that she never said.
Oh, they made it into a story?
They made a whole story about her and, like, putting quotes from her. Like, she said, oh, no, like, I'm gonna be, I don't know, like, just craziness.
The rocks, they're gonna fall. I'm gonna...
I remember looking down and seeing the jagged rocks and thinking I'm gonna fall to my death. Like, crazy. She's like, I never said this. Like, where did they get this story?
Just chilling on the rocks and just on his shoulders, just like, well, can you imagine just sitting there waiting for your friend to get help that whole time? You're just like, I spy a vertical log.
I really hope other people got that reference.
Thank you. That's it for our stories for this one. Next week, our prompts is a time during high school. Y'all better submit one for this because I know you got good ones for this. Oh, a time during high school. And if you have any, what did I write here?
Just topic ideas for an episode.
Oh, yeah. If you guys have any ideas for an episode, for a prompt, you can totally just message us and let us know. Like, if you have one that you just know you have a story about something good, dude, give us that prompt. We'll totally use it. Let's go.
For sure.
Okay, thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you next time.